Hey seniors, it's Michael Scott with Seniors in Action. I'm going to talk today about when a person should start drawing Social Security. That's probably the most commonly asked question in the United States as people approach Social Security age. Before we start, we have our usual two disclaimers. One is our disclaimer saying that we do take commissions from affiliates if you punch on certain buttons. Also, our educational disclaimer that says, hey, you need to do your own research. We're doing as good as we can, but you need to do your own research on these things, especially if you have specific items. Talk to your tax professional. Let me give credit where credit is due. The sources for this video are, of course, the Social Security Administration website, which is very good, but also Bob Jennings, a CPA that I take continuing education courses from, especially on Social Security. I've taken his course twice on Social Security. He actually wrote the book on Social Security, and you can find that book on Amazon if you look under his name. His last edition was a 2017 edition. Bob does own a continuing education business, and like I say, he educates CPAs, attorneys, and other financial professionals. So if you look before you see his advisory group, and his website is actually taxspeaker.com. Go out and look at it. He's got a two-hour seminar on Social Security that you might want to listen to someday. I'm assuming in this video that you're all able to or all eligible to draw Social Security. So the question is, at what age can I start drawing my Social Security? The answer to that is the earliest age is 62. If you are disabled, you can draw earlier actually than 62. Let's talk about some possible reasons why someone might want to draw at age 62. First of all, if you're in bad health, you might want to consider drawing at 62 if you've got a chronic disease of some kind. If your progenitors, your mother, father, siblings, grandparents have had a short lifespan, you might want to consider it. And you might want to consider it if you've got financial needs and you absolutely need to draw at 62. It might be a good idea to start drawing then. You know, when I was looking at drawing Social Security, I'm now 69, almost 70, but when I was 62, I thought, I did have bad health. I've had a liver transplant, I've got diabetes, and I've got another chronic disease. And I thought, well, there's chances are I may die before I ever get Social Security. And the last thing I considered is, the system might be broke. It might not be there for me, and a lot of people think that. So let's spend a little bit of time talking about whether the system is broke or not. The question is the system really going broke? Let's take a look at that and see if it is. The 2019 summary report from the Social Security Administration mentions that over its 84-year history, the Social Security Fund has actually taken in $21.9 trillion and only paid out $19 trillion, leaving a surplus of $2.9 trillion. Now that surplus that money comes from payroll taxes that are collected from you and from your employer. It also comes from interest payments from the federal government as they borrow Social Security funds. The 2018 Trustees Report for the Social Security Administration, also called the 2018 Annual Report of the Board of Trustees of the Federal Old Age and Survivors Insurance and Federal Disability Insurance Trust Funds. No kidding, that's the name of the form. That's a mouthful, isn't it? It predicts that the fund will have adequate funds until 2035. Now, the previous report that came out in 2017 said 2034. You can see that the fund is going to be around for a while. For those of you that are seniors, which is the majority of those viewing this video, so let's look at reasons not to draw at 62. Main reason is a 6% penalty for every year you draw before full retirement age. Now, full retirement age for most of you that are seniors is going to be 66. It comes at 66 and 2 months for those born in 1955. For those born in 1960, your full retirement age is going to be 67. Now, when you consider the penalties on the earlier slide, if you add up those penalties, the difference between drawing at 62 versus 66 is a 24% penalty. The penalty drawing at 62 versus 67 is actually a 30% penalty. So there's a pretty stiff penalty if you decide to draw early. That penalty goes down for every year you wait after 62. Now, another item is that if you wait to draw until after your full retirement age, you're going to receive a delayed retirement credit of 8% each year until you reach 70. After 70, your benefit no longer accrues. Okay, an additional reason that you should not draw at 62, or to consider not drawing at 62, is because if you draw at 62 and continue to work, you're going to be penalized $1 for every $2 your working income exceeds, in 2019 anyway, $17,640. That number is inflation adjusted, so it does change, but you'll be penalized every year if you're making over that number or a number similar to that until you're 66. So instead of drawing Social Security, you may be paying quite a bit of it back, and that adjustment comes when you're not expecting it, usually maybe 2 or 3 years after the fact. Now, one additional thing I need to warn you about is that if you draw at 62, don't mistake the fact that you'll be drawing Medicare, because you will not be covered by Medicare until you're 65. So if you retire at 62 and you're drawing your Social Security income, you're going to have to pay health insurance until you're 65. So you need to make sure that that 3-year window there is covered. After everything I've said about not drawing at 62, here's the real bottom line. If you look at this slide, this is an example of a person that is drawing $1,000 a month at full retirement age. If he draws at 62, he's discounted by the 24% we talked about. If he draws at 70, he receives the delayed credit of 30%. And so by the time he's 66, if he draws at 62, he's made $36,480, 66 nothing, 70 nothing. When he's 70, he's made $72,960 versus $48,000 if he'd drawn at 66. But the break-even point is at 78 years and 8 months. And you can see at 78 years and 8 months, the amount at 62 and the amount at 66 is the same. So the bottom line is, if you're going to live 78 years and 8 months, you need to hold off. And if you're not going to live that long, you need to go ahead and draw at 62. Now, these tables do ignore the cost of living increases in the time value of money, so that 78 plus 8 months may be closer to 77 or 78, but this is just an estimate that gives you an idea of how long you would need to live in order to break even on your Social Security. In conclusion, it's a gamble. If you don't think you'll live until 78, it'd be wise to start drawing at 62. If you think you're going to live longer than 78, I'd wait until full retirement age. Now, how long are people living? The Social Security Administration said in 2017 that a man is living until he's 84 years old. A woman is living to about 86 and a half. And so you can look at those numbers and see where you might fit in. If you live that long, well, it would be wise for everybody to draw at their full retirement age. Thank you very much for viewing this video. If you like it, subscribe to the channel and like the video, and I'll be back with another video very quickly.